What is going on, everybody? Jay here from Maji and Jay. Today coming with the unboxing and the review of a very cool RC item that I got from Amazon. And yes, this is a boat. For the first time ever, I had the curiosity. That's because recently I visited my local RC hobby store and they had it for a little bit more money, of course. And I did my own research on this particular boat because they had it on display. I compared them to others that they had over there. They were, of course, a lot more expensive. This is considered a mid-range boat. And I paid for this one $299 on Amazon. It was without Prime, so it took a little bit longer to arrive. And yes, I already took it out of the box. As a matter of fact, there was a little bit of a leak accidentally that I showed you guys on YouTube, where I was testing it, but the battery was about to run out and I wanted to show it to some family members and so on, but I accidentally hit the public button instead of the private. And it's okay because anyways, I was going to tell you guys that I had tested it just to make sure that there were no leaks, that there were no, defective items or anything of that nature. So here, guys, we have the box, and of course it's too big for me to show it on the camera. I do apologize, but I would try to make some cuts just to make it easier for you guys to view it. So the first thing here is that we got some of the specifications of the item. It has a beam of 6.5 inches. That's basically meaning the width. It has a length of 26 inches. It comes with a water-cooled system. It is made of plastic. Unfortunately, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I think plastic is actually quite durable. It has a brushless motor, it's a 21 kV motor, and again, it's water-cooled, and it has a radio transmitter of 2.4 gigahertz. The top speed on this boat is about 30 miles per hour to 35 approximately, depending on the conditions, of course, the wind, depending if you're doing this on a lake or wherever the case may be, your speed may be affected. Also on top of the box here, I have some of the recommended items. Some of them are for, are voluntary, and the other ones I would say they're more mandatory than anything else. Like this little tool here, this is a Allen set, and it comes with multiple sizes. I got this from my local dollar store, and trust me guys, it is very useful because all the bolts on this little boat are Allen type. Very important to have. This is optional. This is a battery that I got, an extra battery if you want to have more fun on one timeout. If you want to get more batteries, that's up to you, but I got this little Venom battery. It's a 3200 milliamps. It's exactly the same as the stock battery except a different brand. So here's the information. This is a 30C, and again it's 11.1 volts. Okay, very useful. Next we got here some grease together with a pump. This is actually mandatory. It's part of the maintenance on this boat, and it goes on the drive shaft. I'll be explaining later on exactly how to use it. And all you need here is the grease. You can do it manually, but I would recommend the pump. It's very clean and easy to do. Now I got this for about $20. That's because I purchased it from my local hobby store, but you can find this on Amazon for about, I would say, $12 to $14 with the pump. The grease alone is only about $2 or $3. I think that the most expensive item here is this little pump, which is actually quite convenient. And yes, guys, this is very, very much needed because otherwise, your shaft can break. It does overheat if it doesn't have sufficient grease. So just keep that in mind. Next, we got here another optional item, and that's going to be this little Mobius C2 camera that I'm going to add on here. This has been sitting on my desk for about, I would say, 9 months now. So I really don't have any special uses for it. So I'm just going to add it to the boat and hopefully it will last. This is not a waterproof cam. So I may have to add some tape here on the top and maybe where there's any holes like on the back here, just to protect it a little bit. But yes, guys, we will be adding a camera to the boat just to see what's the actual experience or what's going on the boat while it is riding. So I think it's going to be quite cool. So once again, guys, these are just recommended items in case you want to protect your investment and not damage the boat. At least on the grease side and the Allen key side, so just keep that in mind. So now let's go ahead and open the box and see what's inside. And again, guys, I do apologize that my space is very limited. This box is very long. So here, let me just give you a quick preview of the box. Once again, we got the picture of the boat itself. Again, it's the Recoil 26. It comes with a brushless motor, and pretty much everything that I already mentioned is on here on the box. So let me just go ahead and set it aside. And now inside here, we're going to see this yellow boat. Unfortunately, it only comes in one color. I really like black or blue, so maybe in the future I'm going to repaint it and get some new stickers for it if it's possible. So here, the first item we find is a little stand. Okay, it's made of plastic, nothing very special. The next item we got here is the manuals. Okay, now I'm going to explain pretty much everything you need to know about this boat. How to maintain it and so on. So this is the manuals. We got a little antenna cover. This is important, otherwise it will leak. And I think a little manufacturer warranty guide here of some kind, and that's about it. Then we got the boat itself. Again guys, this is not a toy. This is an RC hobby grade boat. It's actually, I would say it's a little bit expensive if you ask me, or depending what your budget is. There's exactly another model of this one. It's called the Recoil. I think it's the 17. It's just basically smaller, but they have about the same power. I decided to get the bigger model just because I wanted to add a camera, which I'm going to do here on the middle side. This is where I'm going to add that Mobius C2 camera that I mentioned before. So here we have, guys, the humongous boat. On the back here, we already see some of the components. We got here the little holes for the water cooling system. If you look here, let me see if I can show you this. I think I will have to steer it for you right here. This is where the water gets sucked in. It goes into the system, and then it gets spitted out here on the side. So yes, it goes pretty much through the entire system. You're going to be seeing that in just a moment. Also, this is the front side of the boat. Okay, this is the bottom side of the boat. It's actually very well made, and it's quite heavy, believe it or not. On the back here we have the propeller together with the other components to keep it in place. We have some balancers on the back, and also we have a little cap here for the water so that you can drain it. It is always recommended that after you guys use it, you keep the cap sealed, otherwise you might get a lot of mold inside. But now the cool part is that all the components inside of this little boat, they are waterproof, so that's definitely a plus. We got here the antenna part. Let me just go ahead and flip it here to the left side. So here we see again that logo. It came with all the stickers already, so we don't have to do pretty much anything to it. And I believe, guys, that this is designed in the USA, but it is made in China, and it comes directly from China already assembled. So now let's go ahead and take a look what else comes inside of the box. Okay, and then I believe that our last item is going to be a white box, where inside we're going to find the transmitter itself. This is I call it gun style transmitter. I know they have tons of names, but I like to call things my own name. It's a bad habit that I have. So here is the transmitter. This is the one found on a lot of the RC cars and trucks. Okay, we got the little steering wheel here. We have the what I call the gas pedal. We have some of the trims. Okay, so that you can balance your unit. And out of the factory, it comes pre-balanced, but it's not the best job. You know, it's not well done. Inside here, we got some of the other trims. Okay, that's to change the sensitiveness of your throttle and also the steering wheel. You got your on and off switch, and I already got some batteries installed on here because, like I said before, I did tested it, and I like to buy high quality batteries. In this case, I got Duracell. They are very good, and also Energizer. So again, this is the transmitter, guys. And then lastly, we're going to have the LiPo charger, which is good to charge a 2-cell or 3-cell battery. So here we see it. This is actually quite basic. I have another one laying around that I'm going to use as my primary charger. And then we got here the power cord, okay? And that's about it. I got the American kind. Okay, that's very cool. And this is everything that we got inside of the box, guys. So now let's go ahead and check out the boat. Okay, so now let's go ahead and take a quick look inside of the boat by removing these two little bolts that you guys see here on the back side. Now this is very important that you guys keep them around. As a matter of fact, I don't think they come off completely. They would just untighten. So this is a very well made boat so far, guys. From my testing, I was thrilled. I mean, I'm just always thrilled about how well they can make it and all the components that make it possible. I think it's a very cool idea. Okay, so here inside we're going to find the battery. This is the stock batteries, the 30C 3200 power milliamp battery. Comes already pre-installed, and in my case I already charged it. We got here the ESC. It stands for electronic speed controller, and again there we see the little hose. I'm not sure if you guys can see this, the little hose right there where the water flows, and it comes right out on the side of the boat. Okay, we got the motor itself. Inside here, I'm not sure if you guys can see that, we got the power switch. And on the other side of the boat, okay, we got here the servo. We also have the receiver for the remote, and that's about it. Here we got that shaft. Now the shaft on the outer side is going to be solid, but inside we're going to have a flex shaft, okay, which is really cool, and you got to keep it greased. As you guys can see right here, I already added some grease right there. And to remove this, you need a I think it was a 10mm wrench on the back side and a 12mm wrench on the front side. Now before we take off to the lake, I would like to show you two different steps that must be completed in order to do a successful run on this boat. First of all, you want to make sure that your shaft has enough grease, and to remove this thing is actually quite simple. You guys need a 10mm wrench, like I said before, on the back side here where this little wheel is located. And then on the front side, you're going to need a 12mm wrench in order to remove it. And then after that, your entire shaft here from the back is going to be removed. You don't need to remove this bolt, you just pull it out and you make sure that it has grease. And again, you can do it manually or you can do it with the pump. If you have the pump, all you have to do is inside this little hole that there is going to be after removing the shaft, you pump it about 5 or 6 times and then you can just push it back in. That's why the pump is so convenient. Or you can just go ahead and add it directly to the shaft, to the flexible shaft, and then put it back in. And also add a lot of grease here as well inside and then behind here where the bearing is for the motor. And make sure that every single component like this right here has grease. Make sure that this has grease and that pretty much every moving part has grease. So now with this being said, let's go ahead and run to the park, test this baby and see how well it does. Here we go. Alrighty guys, so here we are at the lake. This is my local lake. It's about 1 minute away from my house. And here we have the RC boat. So first of all, you must connect the battery. Right now I'm using the brand new battery that I purchased from my local hobby store. You go ahead and press on the power key like I showed you guys before. And then after this, you grab your transmitter and turn it on as well. And it should be pairing in no time. Of course, I don't want to test it because this thing is hitting right now the grass, but I can do the steering a little bit. Everything's working properly. Now we're going to put the cap on, and to show you here, I do have my little Mobius C2 camera. This is the one that I reviewed about, I think it was about 9 months and a half ago. And this is a 1080p camera at 30 frames per second, and hopefully it will sustain the water. Right now I got it attached on here with Velcro. Let me go ahead and show you briefly what I did here. So you can see the Velcro's right here, and this is the bottom side. I place a little bit more here in the front so that it levels out, and I already tested it a little bit and it worked well, so hopefully you guys will enjoy it. Let's get into action. Well, there we have it for the unboxing and the review of the Proboat Recoil 26. Let me tell you guys that this thing is absolutely phenomenal. It is a lot of fun, especially now in the summertime. If you guys like to be outdoors, this is definitely a hobby that you want to consider. Just some recommendation: keep your shaft always lubricated. Like I showed you guys before, this is the pump. This is how it looks after you have it assembled. Make sure that you get the Allen screw set, and also make sure that you keep the internals dry and clean at all times. And the boat should last you for a very long time. So with this being said, like always, if you guys do have any questions, don't forget to leave your comment below. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you on my next one.